Hey, tomorrow the city's back. Tomorrow is back open, full fledged. So today we observed the holiday, the actual day of. And so that's all good. And so today is free fall. So what's on your mind? Hey, look here, go ahead. This is 2323. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you now. Re-elect Reeves. That sign is coming soon. Request your yard sign today. We'll get it to you. So it's gonna be a brand new year, brand new facts, brand new problems, brand new solutions. Talk to me. What's on your mind?
Well, Corey, I just want to thank you for a great year again, 2022. Thank you for all that you did. Did somebody say something? Miss Johnson?
Yep, yes, Miss Johnson. I got lots. Let me ask you about a couple of things going into 2023. Okay, I just want to bring you up on things that happen in the neighborhood. We have a fire around there on Fairwood Place. I meant Pepper Beach Place. Around there in the cul-de-sac, the house burnt to the ground and they lost 3 cars. On there around. Okay. Then the second one around there on Springdale. Have you seen those 3 little houses there? Those two little houses there be around there.
On Springdale?
Uh-huh.
No, ma'am.
Well, you around the corner for it. Could you take a drive around there and see it?
Okay.
Okay.
Send me the addresses so I can.
I'll send you, I can probably send you a picture too.
Okay.
Are you saying they burned too, Miss Johnson? That you
saying? They don't qualify for this neighborhood.
Oh.
So that's a, okay.
They making our property value come down. You go around there and look.
Okay. Absolutely. Sound like a code enforcement deal. So
he already built them.
They got permits and a code?
That's my question to Corey. I wonder, did he get a permit to build those little houses around there like that?
What little houses?
I just told you around there.
No. You said little houses, as in what kind of little houses? Like
look
small...
like maybe a 3-bedroom pole on a slab, a cement, no garage, just little just houses that don't qualify for this neighborhood. You go around there and look.
I'm going to check that.
Oh yeah, please hit me to this, because you know, when did they get? Because you said they recently got constructed.
Yeah, they are.
Right, they recently got constructed. Right, so
right.
What happened when the building was going on? What was? Anyway, I get to that.
Okay, and then my other thing, since I was thinking you said something about you wanted to try those smart speed bumps in our neighborhood. Let us be the trial. So do you think that will work for us? Are we going to do that?
Yes, I'm pushing for that. Matter of fact, that's got a meeting with the city manager tomorrow, and that's one of the items on discussion.
Okay,
smart
thank
bumps.
you.
We're going to be a beta testing for it, right?
Yeah.
Because we got the money.
I won't
test this neighborhood, Brentwood Place.
That's where we want to be. You said we would be the trial. So put us for the trial. I'm going to hold you to that.
Absolutely.
And then the next thing is what we're going to do about this property around here on Transit that Mr. Baker came in and tore up and got water running on the people's property. And that's
Oh,
being,
you talking about right on Transit Circle, up there
yeah,
on there by the hill.
right.
Yeah, I'm trying to do something with that property. I can't speak until I know for certain legally what can transpire, but yeah, that's been a topic of discussion for quite some time. Fred Baker, right? That what's the name of that construction company? But it's not him who owns it. There's a lady who owns it who said she has heard an investment company or something. They was gonna build 3 houses. They was waiting on a permit that never came, and it wasn't in the system. So um, anyway, I can't. I just have to wait to get what I can say legally. Let me just say
Okay.
that. Right.
Okay. That's it for me, but I'm gonna hold you to everything I just told you. Okay.
Absolutely. With your help, we can't go wrong, Miss Johnson. Appreciate you.
Okay.
Got my audio working now. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy
Happy
New
New
Year.
Year.
Could someone give me more information about this speed bump? Does this one meet the will the emergency vehicles have any issues with this particular speed bump? Can you tell me more about it?
No, okay. Well, what it is smart bumps, and that's something that came way from. I got the information from Mario Clark, and then I further did some research, and basically these smart bumps it's a solution to the speed bump issue. And I said we can be a beta test. And so what it is it will only crystallize if you're over the speed limit. So if you're speeding down the street, it will crystallize. Other than that, it will stay as fluid, so you can just drive right over it. And so emergency vehicles as well. So that's one of the things is like I said, we can beta test it and research, because researching is one thing, but the actual mechanism, material, the actual installation, actually how it actually works, that could, be the telltale. And if it's something that is a solution, then it's something that could be implemented citywide under the funding that it was been allocated for safety improvements.
So the emergency vehicles, they speed. So how would they treat those emergency vehicles?
That's what one of the things that we were talking about is it's a mechanism that the emergency vehicles will be placed on their
Okay,
on the
okay.
vehicle, and it will recognize it. And so as as that service, that they'll just be allowed to go through. But that's what the beta tester. That's what I would want to see is, of course, before we put one of our vehicles that we spend so much money on through that test, we'll use some kind of vehicle or whatever, or hopefully the company will supply a vehicle if they want to beta test it through to show us that actually this device would work.
When does
Right.
that beta testing begin?
I have a meeting with our city manager tomorrow, and so this was mentioned about September, October, and so to see, and with the money that we do have, and to allocate some areas over in District 5, particularly over in the Fairwood benchmark area, and we'll put it this way: how many ever we can get for the test it out is how many we can dictate. And of course, they would be, placed sporadically throughout the area, so that we can have, and particularly the highest affected areas, of course, will be looked at first.
Okay, well, if we can get Mako on that list, that'll be great. If not, somebody got to be the beta tester. So long as somebody beta test it,
Yeah, because I want to see if these things work. I mean, I'm so curious because I want to see if these things really work. Like, because if it does, I mean, I'm excited because that is a solution, a literal solution to the issue it's like citywide. So I think that it's awesome.
Oh, Corey, this is Sheila. Sound like the beta testing need to be worked out with the fire department to see which street that they use the most, that they go through the most. And that seemed to me what a beta testing should be.
Well, it will be. Chief Jones will have
no,
to definitely input on that as well. Like, because that's what we would want to have happen. But I'm saying, but before we put our first responder vehicles, when they come out and install it, they'll have to have a vehicle or something, whatever device they plan on installing on our first responders, whether it be police or fire, whatever mechanism that is that they place on to recognize from the spark bumper they would provide we're not going to damage none of our equipment, like, showing if this device works. We don't want to put it on our first responder vehicles and then say go, and then, something happens. Well, we want to have the people who are manufacturing it to use a vehicle or whatever they want to do at the speed of a fire truck, just say at a 60 and a 35-mile-an-hour zone. And
But
so
I'm,
we would want that to be, well, I know I would want that to be the case because I don't want to put any of our vehicles at risk for getting damaged doing a trial beta testing of whatever mechanism they're getting ready to put on this vehicle.
but the speed bumps ain't gonna be on a major road, like where a fire truck or those vehicles would travel, emergency vehicle would travel the most. We're talking
No,
about the speed bumps being inside these neighborhoods where people are speeding. So that statement
correct.
about where the fire trucks travel the most, that's not an issue or a factor because they
That's not
travel the
true.
major roads the most.
Major roads can be a road like the road that's go down Red Oak where the fire departments come. That's a major road for
Right, but they
Ponderosa.
won't
Is a
have
major
those.
road
Those are
for.
not the roads that's gonna have these speed bumps, though.
I
Well,
don't know why
let me just
not.
say, let me just say this. Actually, Red Oak would qualify as having speed bumps go down
Right, it's
versus
a neighborhood
Buffington
road.
Road.
That's the
Versus
neighborhood
Buffington
road, and
Road.
that's a major
Right,
road. That's correct. And
Right.
it's not
But
a
versus
subdivision. That's a major road, and because it
but
counts with
Roosevelt Highway
Ponderosa.
wouldn't be.
no, Roosevelt Highway would not.
No,
Right, and that's
Buffington
a
Road
major
would not.
road. That's a major road that they go down. Red
Right.
Oak
But
is a neighborhood street.
correct.
Red Oak is a major road. It's a neighborhood major road street. The
Right,
neighborhood runs. The subdivisions run off of Red Oak.
right. But
Correct.
Red Oak is different than say Roosevelt Highway or
No,
Fairwood
it wouldn't be
Road.
Roosevelt. I couldn't see it being
right.
Roosevelt.
You're
Plus,
right. They are different. To answer his question, yes, they are different. They will fit different
Okay.
criteria.
Well, I consider those to be major roads like Roosevelt or Fairwood.
No, no, that wouldn't be. Like I
Right,
said,
they're major roads. But what she's talking about is with a major road within a subdivision, which is different. Red Oak would be
I
like
see your point. Right.
right.
I see your
Red
point.
Oak would be like Makeover,
Correct.
um, Fairwood Road, Rose, what you call would not. So yeah, Red Oak was an inside. I consider Red Oak to be within the neighborhood.
The Red Oak is a cut through from people cut through from Buffington over there, cut through Red Oak to get shorter way to the flat shows. And some of the back way out there to go to Ponderosa. And you can come up through Old Bill Cook off of Gobby Road coming that way to avoid the traffic.
Yeah, can't wait to see how that goes.
Well, it's a test. That's why I say it's the beta. So, we're going to test out the best things over there. Like, so we're going to put theory out there to application. And so, we're just going to see what's up. And
I mean, it may or may
see,
not work. That's what the beta testing is all about. It may or may not work,
correct.
or it could turn out to be too expensive. Who knows? But at
Ms.
least something is
Collins,
being tried.
Ms. Collins got her hand up, Councilman.
Well,
Go ahead,
thank you.
Ms. Collins.
Well, hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. Thank you, Jane.
You're welcome.
Okay. My
Ooh-wee.
question is, who is going to take care of the maintenance? Say if this speed bump is damaged, would there be a warranty on it that the company will have to replace it? And what is the longevity on the sensors that's going to be placed on the fire trucks and the police cars?
That's what we're going to find out. That's all of the information that we would know. Is I do know the maintenance of that will be done by Public Works. Because once it's installed, then it's up to Public Works to maintain it.
Okay.
That's for sure. And
is there any special training for that, or
special training for anytime any manufacturer would have anything, that then you do have people who train on talking about the mechanics of it, right? If they need
yes?
anything done to it,
What fucking
absolutely.
question is that?
Okay.
So
All right.
so when we say beta test, we mean testing the entire gamut of how everything will work from this longevity, use, crystallization, how often would it need maintenance, this and that third. That's what the beta test is, to get all of those accurate metrics. Theoretical metrics is one thing, but the actual metrics is something else. And so that's when it's actually in use. by the end user. And so that's what I say beta testing. That means the whole gamut.
Thank you, Corey.
Yes, ma'am. But anything else like this? And so what else is on the menu? Like, what else would y'all or see that could be done that needs to be addressed? I know one thing I'm trying to get right here through the Public Works in Brightview and Georgia Power is to trim them branches back away from all of them power lines, just in case, you know what I mean, we have these of course we just faced pipe burst from Atlanta watershed. You know, I got to deal with that when I get back home. One of my pipes burst, so I'll deal with that when I get back home. And so anybody else experienced that type of situation? And is everybody's water back on? And is everybody is everybody's water back on?
I didn't have water for 4 days.
4 days.
Well, glad it's back on.
I am too.
Well,
Did
y'all
you
know,
have any pipe to burst, Miss Collins?
Yes, I did, but it's back on now. Thank God.
did you have to get your pipe repaired?
I didn't hear you.
Did you have to get your pipe repaired? The pipe that burst, you said won't burst?
I did. I got it repaired. I have a great person that does that kind of work for me.
Well, send me the number.
I know that's right. Give me that.
Look here, because I got to deal with this when I get back home. I'm serious. I'm just like, hey, look here.
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you tonight.
Okay, awesome.
What I did, I shut the valves. I shut the valves off to the two faucets for the outside. I shut them down.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, there's just a lot of stuff I have to do, but you know, as I said, I was on a needed break, but still like working. But I still found things going back at home, and I'm just glad that everybody is power's back restored, water's back running. But y'all do know this. Just adds to my argument of why I want our own water authority, and so this is one of the reasons why. And so there is. Well, I'm not sure if there's opportunity, but there is a Mid-Chat Water Authority that has Union City, Fairburn, and Palmetto to have their own system. It's called the Mid-Chat Water Authority. It was the South Fulton Water Authority until we became a city. And the EPD did grant them the rights to go ahead and start their water authority. And, you know, I wanted to jump in on that. Of course, it'll be Big Brother, major capital improvement. I'm just want to get a FISC to be fiduciary responsible, you know, mean, what would that cost? What would be the capital of that? And, you know, over what time frame would that be a construction? So is it a 5 to 10 year time frame? But I mean, I'm just, the two things that you use the most that you cannot afford to live without is water and sanitation. So why not own it? And so that's just my mentality. So I'm alone in that deal, but I'm gonna prove to be fiduciary responsible and get a fisc on what would that be the cost of capital improvement over what time frame. Because the benefit, let me just quite frankly tell you, the benefit you wouldn't see until about 15 or 20 years, but at the same time, right now will be somewhere where you would try to, you know, be talking about it and planning for it. And so because we won't be a city forever. So, I mean, I don't know those two things. You own those two things, and I tell you that put it this way, the situation we could have handled the situation better if it wasn't the watershed management. That's all I'm saying.
Right. I have another question.
Somebody else had their hand raised.
Go ahead, Miss Collins. I yield to you, Miss Collins.
Oh, thank you. I want to know why is it that we cannot implement a pothole process where somebody can drive around and see all these potholes that we have, because a lot of times you don't know the address or you can't get the address, but the pothole remains there.
No, Sister Gunner, you know what? Because that was something that was done by City of Atlanta, and I was thinking about calling it something else, but I done emailed Brian Morris and Public Works, because this is what Public Works do, and get with their transportation guy. Remember the guy we had to come on? What's his name? Right. So to ride around with him to show him all the potholes to get the GPS coordinate. But to ride around
Yes.
with a crew. They actually did that on Buffington Road about a month ago. They rode around fixing the potholes that was up and down Buffington Road, and so and slum. But you know, it wasn't all. So, but I thought about doing the same because they did. It was a very successful program under Atlanta under Shirley Franklin's administration, and so. But it's the name. I think they trademarked the name, so I ain't know. Like, but you're absolutely right.
And
Pothole
another
pocket.
thing is we have a sinkhole over there at Riggins Ridge and Fairwood. It's a
Said the what?
sinkhole, Riggins Ridge and Fairwood.
Uh-huh.
They need to fix that, and our hole is back at the railroad track. The one they filled up.
Yeah, we told that guy about that the last time he was on here. I forget his name.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. So, okay, Councilman Reed, and
Okay,
then I see
thanks,
Sean.
Jane.
You welcome. Councilman Reed, so I'm gonna take it a little further about these pipes, right? Why is it that we are still allowing, you know, climate change has made an effect, an impact on, you know, not doing business as usual with our homes and pipes and stuff like that. So why is it that we're not looking into, maybe we are, maybe I just don't know, but we should be building homes today, not based on 70 years ago, but based on future, you know, like pipes and stuff. I heard one guy on the news say, well, you know, I live in Chicago and now I'm in Atlanta, and it surprises me that when we have bad weather down here, you know, everybody pipes are bursting or whatever. And you live in Chicago, Detroit, New York, and they don't have that. So are we doing anything different when these homes are being built that requires a, you know, better piping or pipes to be covered or whatever? Now, I know it don't mean more money, but that's on the front end versus the back end.
No, actually, then you on something that is absolutely the critical deal. Once again, reason number 350 that why you want to have on your own water system, because you can upgrade out there from that. Fulton County is responsible for our sewer, and Atlanta Watershed is responsible for our water. Okay, and so those two authorities out there, but you have to go to them and look at where are those plans? Where are those plans to upgrade the current system that it is there? But more so of what can we do as a city that when we do have these subdivisions or whatever are created, particularly going back to any one of these people who want to have rental homes, and if we want to have things of that nature, then
Councilman Reed, you went on mute. Councilman Reed, you hit the mute button.
Hello?
Oh, he dropped.
He hit the mute. He hit the mute button.
He hit the mute button.
oh my bad, could y'all not hear me?
No, you
Yep.
back now.
What was the last thing you heard me say?
About upgrading the
Fulton County and the
curtains.
developers and rental houses.
Right. So right. Well, we will have to get over to Fulton County and see where are they at with upgraded. And I think we had a situation where they did a whole little area view on the system. What is this? Not in Trisman Creek. It's the wastewater treatment plant. That they said that they added capacity to hold that volume. But if you're adding volume to a treatment center, but you're not adding volume to the carrier system to that treatment plant, that's where the issue comes in. So if you got 300 homes with an 8-inch main going into a 10-inch main, right? Now when you add 450 homes, now you got 750. And all of them got an 8-inch line going into a 10-inch main where you got more capacity. That 10-inch line is no longer able to hold the capacity.
That's right.
And so you have to look at that infrastructure. So when we, as a city, because one of the things I'm talking about is, is that how can we own that? How can we control that? How can we regulate that? And can we regulate that through developers? It says that they're responsible for, you know, the increase of the capacity. So much so of the same thing as when we have with the rooming homes and boarding homes that they wanted to pass. And so, you know, if you add in capacity to that, now you have 8 individual rooms. You're in 8 individual rooms. That's a potential of 16 people. What about the trash they generate? What about the water usage they generate? What about the water use they use? What about the sewer usage that they use? I mean, you know, I mean, there's a, you know, 8 rooms. How many of y'all gonna share a bathroom with 7 different people that you don't know? So it's like, why you look at those type of things and how we could look at this and, you know, use regulation to require them to upgrade it so it doesn't add no cost to the city. But that's a research thing that we're still into, and so, you know, I just don't have the full answer, educated answer on it for you yet. But that's something that is definitely being looked at as to what are the possibilities that can be, and to me, that is a possibility.
What are you talking about?
So, Councilman Reeves, this is Chandra. I have, hey,
Is your
hey
hand
everyone,
up?
Happy New Year. So, for starters, back when the gentleman with Public Works was on and speaking on the See It, Click It, Ticket program. Yes, yes. So there is still an outstanding, I still get emails from a report that I made 2 years ago. And I already have expressed a couple of times that it has been resolved, but I still get feedback on that. But that is not the point that I'm wanting to make now. Last week, matter of fact, Christmas Eve, I put in a request because there are dead and dying trees all up Buffington Road. And for me, I'm looking at it as if, you know, the poor unfortunate soul that is either walking or driving, when that tree falls, it's not going to be pretty. So I see dead wood on the side near where that MARTA stop is, right near the Chick-fil-A plant. But it's probably, I'm sure my ticket is still in queue, still waiting to be addressed. But I placed this request in, you know, like I said, December 24. And the next thing I wanted to inquire about is, what is the process? And this is real time. Me and my neighbor, one of my neighbors just dealt with this scenario, in that trash was illegally dumped on our street. And my neighbor and I were able to ascertain, we looked through it and got an address and took a little trip to one of the Sables.
Get shot, huh?
And absolutely knocked on the door and made them aware that their trash was illegally dumped on our street. So, but I wanted to ask you, what is truly the process with how to handle that?
I was told to call 911.
Ah,
So you would call 911. That handles the illegal dump.
okay. Now I know.
Did
Thank
that?
you very much.
What was the said outcome of the response?
I'll be looking out front here momentarily to see if that trash was picked up. Other than that, like I said, we have the address.
Yeah. That would be 911. I think that would be an open and shut case, but that's what I was told, call 911.
Okay.
So Councilman Reeves, it looks like you guys are moving, the city is moving ahead with one trash pickup company. And we will not have the option to choose amongst many, which normally means better competition, means lower payments. Now that we're gonna have, looks like one company, what have you guys done to help keep those prices down for us.
They negotiated is one price. But that is for the service. They haven't included the recycle, but we're looking at having a Merck Miles as a recycling center to go to.
Well, I'm talking about keeping that price. My question is about keeping that price down. Has anything been discussed about keeping that price down with us with this company that you guys have negotiated with? That has to be a specific conversation.
Absolutely. If you look at from the price that the garbage pickup right now is actually lower than the current price that you were paying quarterly. It's a monthly price, but it's I don't have that number in front of me right now, and I'm driving. If any, Tamika, if you have that slide up where it shows it where that price point is, you can show that. But if you add it up over the quarter, some were paying 64, some was paying 84, some were paying 95. I mean, but the price that we have, I believe, is $8. I don't know if the price
It was
point.
around
I don't want
$19. It was around $19.
yeah, we'll just say around $19 out there, but it's less than a quarterly
That's
price of what
just
you're
for the
currently
trash
paying.
now. That's only for the trash.
That's
Okay.
for trash pickup, correct? That's what I said for the service of
Right.
trash pickup.
Now, is that for a 5-year contract, a 10-year hold on that price, or has that been a discussion?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a contractual price, and then they have if you want more service, you could have an a la carte. I believe you can be have an a la carte if you want recycle.
No.
But I know that both
No.
weight pickup is going to be added into that as well.
Well, I was talking about the price being held for a specific
Firm fixed
period of
price, right?
time.
Are you talking about the price is fixed for the length of the contract?
How long is the contract?
5 years.
Okay. All right. That sounds promising.
Right. I want to say a 3-year contract with 2 1-year optional renewals, and but total correct is 5 years.
Yeah, well,
And that
okay.
price is locked in.
Okay. No, that sounds promising.
But right. But I'm gonna get you the authoritative answer in the email
Okay.
to ensure that that's an authoritative answer. That So I don't want to say one thing and then later on it's something else.
Okay.
Ms. Johnson got her hand up. Ms. Johnson? Ms. Ellen Mount? Oh, Ms. Ellen Mount, her hand went down.
You call my name, Jane?
Yes, because you have your hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just have one question to Corey. Corey, when are they going to finish those sidewalks down to Pepper Beach? They just left it. They marked it off, but they did not do anything else. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
You have me an answer?
No, I do not. And so that is because you talking about from Pebble Beach up to the school.
They went all the way down and they didn't finish down to Pepper Beach. I'm walking on the grass. They marked it off, but they didn't finish it. They turned that corner to Pepper Beach and Fairwood.
I'll email that question in to Mr. Valenzuela when they plan on finishing that, because I do understand. Because I had to do the same thing from Benchmark up to the 76 feet up to the school. So
right, you did.
Yeah. So I get with Mr. Valenzuela on that, and I get you the answer.
Thank you.
Ms. Collins, is your hand still up or you have another question?
It's down. I'm driving.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Okay. Okay, Councilman. I don't see no more hands.
Absolutely.
They empty the trash, Jane. Tell them they empty the trash at Fairwood.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, the trash been emptied at, what was that, Roosevelt and, Fairwood?
Fairwood.
Mhm. Thank God.
Yes, it took a while, but I believe somebody's bringing that household trash up there, and that's why it runs over.
Mhm, mhm.
Mhm.
Corey,
Miss Ellen Map, little Map, you got your hand back up?
Okay, thank you. Excuse me, on that sanitation billing, how is that billing going to happen? Is it going to be sent directly to the houses? Is it going to be quarterly, monthly? Or would you clarify? There's been a lot of discussion, but nothing really said and no communication from the city.
My interpretation is it will be collected annually. It will not be a part of the tax bill, but sent either on the tax bill or as a separate bill around the same time as the tax bill. And so, as I still don't have the clarification on that neither. So, but in discussions, that's what our president has to agree to accept it. But we do know that it's not going to be a part of the tax bill. In
Annually
other
would be
words, you will
about
not lose your
240,
house
250.
over not paying sanitation. Some
Mr.
people
Burke
had that
said that
concern.
Mr. Burke has stated that they were still working those details out. The service won't be swapping over until at least June. So over the next 6 months, a lot of the details are being worked out. So they just selected the company. And the reason they haven't sent out the communication is because the details haven't been finalized. They just know it's the company.
Right, but
So if it's
that's
gonna
what
happen
has,
in June and you're still working on finalizing it, then you're gonna give people a couple of months, 30 days to make this payment? If it's
no,
effective in June?
as contract negotiations are going on, because that's what they're negotiating is the contract. And so that you will be updated as to those contract negotiations on how they're going and where they're at. Before anything is final, that is going to be presented to the constituents. So that's for certain. So
How
if
is
that's
it-
a concern, I would just say that I think that this disagrees that communication with the constituency is necessary before anything out there get finalized, because this is, like I said, contractual negotiation.
Okay, how is it going to be communicated?
Through the city,
Oh.
through the city's website, and they have, if you go onto the website, they have sanitation news. There's a link. You click it, it's like the latest updates on what's going on with sanitation. And so I think that's that one source of communication is best. Nothing gets confusing. And so it's going to go through the city channel.
But everybody cannot get that kind of access.
But it's also going to be mailed out too, Ms. Mapp. It's going to be a citywide mailer.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, my concern is the amount of time given. If it's gonna be an annual payment, we're talking about what, $240 annually. Giving someone a very short notice, I don't think is right.
It's not. I agree.
We're not gonna. I believe that we're gonna communicate everything in a timely manner, particularly when it comes to payment. As that's one of the number one issues. As that will be communicated. It's not gonna be a surprise.
I mean, I
At
kind of
least-
like
at
it.
least- at
Get
least
it
let me
out,
just
go
say
ahead and
this, it
pay
ain't
and get
gonna
it
be a
out of the way. I
surprise to
kind of
hear,
like it.
I'm gonna update it when I find out, as I'm gonna let it be known. So it's like it's not gonna be a surprise, as I will be updating as regular as every week. So because I do agree with you. So it's not, like I said, it's not gonna be a shocker. I don't want to be a shocker. I depend on the leaders in the community who are the captos of your HOAs to also get the word out to your community. If you join the call and they don't, to get it, make sure you get it out to them as most accurate as reported as it can be, at least in this area.
You got to think about our seniors who are only receiving
I agree with you. I agree with you, Ms. Mapp. I'm working out a strategy on how to address that.
Okay, I have another question then.
Just-
Okay,
just-
if the payment is going to be due in tax.
Do what now?
if the payment's going to be due at tax time, property tax, which is in November, and we initiate this in June, so when will the first payment be due? Will that be a partial payment to November, or will all of it be due in November, December, when the property tax is due?
Can I, Councilman Reeves, can I interrupt here for a moment and just remind everybody that we have stated that this is an in-process talk going on the details on how this is going to work. We can't give you every single answer right now, or you will already have the communication and publication. The only thing that is for sure right now is that the website has the daily updates. For those of you who do not have internet access, we have asked all the HOAs to have a directory and connect with their residents of who they know need this information that don't have that kind of access. The other thing is that we don't have all the specifics that you are asking us. So if you ask in several different ways, you still will get a we don't know answer. Because we don't know, because they are in the process of creating those details, so that we will be ready to roll by June. We are at January 2nd right now. They will be getting those details in place. We know the company, and we know that the pricing will be around $18, $19. For those of you who want to prepare to save at this point, so whenever that happens, you'll be ready to go, because you already know as of today, that'll be the pricing. Now, what time they're going to break it out and say pay to December or pay for a year from June, or however this is one, they have said give us 6 months to work the details out. That's the best that we can tell you.
Okay. Thank you.
Corey,
Okay,
I have a
so-
question. This is Mr. Conway. Corey, can you hear me?
Mr. Conway, go ahead, sir.
Yes. Is there anything in place in the city government that will address the overpricing and the price gouging that the plumbing companies are doing as a result of this freeze we just had?
Mr. Conway, I don't know of any reprieve about that, but you know, that's one of the unfortunate parts about, that's one of the unfortunate downfalls of capitalism. And so
Oh, amen.
I mean, I can't just, I can go a lot deeper into that, but I just, for the sake of the time, I don't know what we can do about that, honestly. And if anybody have any suggestions on what can possibly do, please send it to me, because I mean, that will take, because it's industry, that will take almost an act of Congress or act of the state that I don't know, but it's like when gas goes and got price gouging, you know, the Department of Natural Resources kind of regulates that, but how many people do they have that, you know, stop the price gouging? Because when things are in demand, that, you know, mean supply and demand deals. So I honestly, I don't know how we could do that. I mean, I would think of ways, but they tell me it's not legal. So, but I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I will take any suggestion for that, because I do know that people are being preyed upon because of this time of emergency. And some people who are on fixed income, some people who are on moderate income, might can't afford those repairs that, get this, are necessary. Because if you don't get it repaired out there, you have water, now you have a mold situation potentially. And thank God it's the wintertime, but what happens when it gets warmer? And so these are issues that, you know, that's my concern, because of looking at an immediate need that needs to be done, that, but if it's not done correctly out there, there could be something disastrous in the future. So, which is even more of an expense.
So let me ask you this: can you do this and without really going anywhere with it? Can you ask the citizens to file a complaint if they feel like they've been price gouged, and hopefully that would get somebody's attention to curb it, knowing that you don't have a foot to stand on?
Well, I would say call the Better Business Bureau and write a complaint about the company that is seeming that things are overpriced. But you know they can always pull this COVID deal. As you see some commercials would be like due to supply, due to what do they call that industry shortage? What are they calling this? What's the terminology? Supply chain issues. And so, they can always try to pull that as well, like things are, but we do know building materials are at an all-time high because we understand that things are at the market rate. So it could be that influx and, it could be due to supply chain. And so that's why I say it's industry, because from manufacturer to end user and everything in between, like, the costs are risen. So, and of course they just pass on the cost to the consumer. That's the one unfortunate thing about capitalism. So we understand that supply chain. We can understand because in this case, a lot of people didn't plan for it. A lot of things ran out. Home Depot, Lowe's. I'm pretty sure people want to go get those parts. It was out. They had to wait till it come in. So demand was more, so they was going to up the price. And so I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what to say to that or how can that be regulated, but they do have justification from industry, as that's what they have been saying lately is due to supply chain issues. And so I'm a product of this because it's going to be 3 times until Ms. Collins gives me the number that could do the guy who's reasonable to repair, because a person within our ecosystem, maybe that's going to hopefully that'll reduce my cost, but I got an expense to make. And so
Okay, I'm gonna text you the number.
I got you, Ms. Collins. I believe you. I know you are. I'm just saying that it's
Passing that blessing around, basically.
pretty much like pay it forward, because not saying your discount is my discount, but I know, because I already know and anticipate in my head that I'm going to be paying at least 2 times the amount or something of that nature. If it's reasonable, then then I'm going to have to do it because it's a necessary deal. And so, mind you, I have not been to my house in about 10 days, so hey, I don't know what to expect I'm walking into, but I know whatever it is, I got to handle it. And so
I had a question. They keep building all these homes and apartments and homes and apartments, especially over in our area. It's like we kind of overpopulated. Like, where would jobs all these?
you sound like you said it was. What did you say? I'm sorry. Repeat the question. The
I'm
last
seeing
part of the
more and
question.
more homes and stuff being built in apartments in our area, up and down Roosevelt, side of Fairwood, and all those places. But I'm not seeing enough stores
The
and
infrastructure.
incorporate that. This flush amount of people in the apartments and homes that are being built, pushing more folks out this way. How is that going to affect our city? Jobs, transportation, all that.
Right, and as they're getting ready to start the construction on this, the widening of Buffington Road to increase for that, particularly Buffington Road, there's 3 different municipalities: Union City, College Park, City of South Fulton. On Buffington Road, the only development that's new and still new is the townhome development that they put. That was years. I couldn't do nothing about that. That was years ago, and they just put that on up. But that's the only townhome on Buffington Road that is in the city of South Fulton. The apartments of the townhomes are all in Union City.
Oh, even those on Roosevelt, what are they clearing off by the gas station over there? There's a gas station, green
across the street from about the green store.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what they wanted to put a truck parking there, and so we they wanted to get it rezoned, so that's not getting rezoned. So, and then a little bit further on down, the apartment that they did put down there, that's Union City.
Well, what is this they doing on Royal South right here? They're clearing
that is the Mercedes-Benz Power Museum, new Mercedes-Benz store, Jim Ellis Mercedes-Benz store. They're putting right there.
Yeah, that's a museum. That's gonna be part of the museum.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I sent out a publication about that a few months back, and they had just broke ground and it's coming right behind there. So that portion is that little portion behind there is Union City.
Just gotta understand how Banneker sits on Union City. It's weird, but okay.
Banneker's in Union City. The library is in Union City.
And that's why the school, I feel like the school don't get a lot of support because it's in Union City, as all the other schools do, as a high school in particular.
So you're
From a
saying
student
that,
perspective,
go ahead.
no, go ahead.
So Banneker is in Union
Go
City.
ahead.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Wow, I did not know that.
Hateville Charter is in
Yes.
Union City. The
Hateville
charter
Charter
school is
too.
Union City.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Okay, may I respond to that?
Go
The
ahead.
reason it's in Union City is because when the funds were allocated, we were not a city at that time, and the school had to be in a city.
Instead of an
And so
unincorporated county.
that's why it was placed in the jurisdiction of Union City.
So
And
those
how long ago
schools
was that?
taxes
What?
go to Union City.
And how long ago was that?
When the funds were allocated for the schools, the city of South Fulton did not exist. So therefore, the Banneker was placed in the jurisdiction of Union City.
Correct. And I said, how long ago was that? That was what, over 10 years?
Close to that, yes.
Correct.
Yes, go back and look at it. Yeah.
Oh, I remember it was before we was, that was at the time we could have been on the ballot. We was the only city on the ballot that voted no to become a city.
Right. And that's why it's in Union City.
Right. And so is the library. So is when they carved up everything, looks like a little carved turkey.
Yes.
And, you know,
Yes.
so yeah, I remember that vividly. And so it's one of those unfortunate
Can we get
things
it back? Well,
half
can
our-
we?
well, you know, how do we get it back?
We tried to get it back.
Right, that's a legal issue. That goes
Right.
to the legalities of it. I'm not qualified to give you a illegal answer, as that will come from our attorney and how that could happen and due to annexation. But then it's another situation on. But then we talk about lawsuits on different municipalities, and so it's one of those things of what do you do, and then how much is it going to cost, and you know the factor of balancing how much it's going to cost to. Are we going to win? How much will we spend? Would it be worth it? The value of it, and so particularly when the school did the redistricting, that you know some areas who people who were going from Westlake was going to they got shipped over to Langston Hughes and to Banneker. And so many people was opposed to going over to the Banneker because they want to be in Langston Hughes. I take it because they just want to remain in the city of South Fulton. But then, you know, it's we don't have our own school system, nor do I think that we're going to ascertain on getting one. But, you know, maybe one day. But right now, all of these are county schools and the county divvies up how it's supposed to be. So I guess they use that argument from when it had to be if the schools had, when they allocated money, the schools had to be in a city, but all of them in Fulton County, and they all Fulton County schools.
Yeah, so
The
that don't
Atlanta
even
city
make
schools are
sense.
different. So the Atlanta city schools are different. Then you go back to the point of at what point of what decision, because that means if I want the funds to be in a school and the school had to be in a specific city, that was a specific city wanting to be an advantage of taking that we were going to incorporate it. But if it's all Fulton County schools, would it have mattered if it was a city or not? Because it would have been in the
That's
county.
right.
So that's what I look at from the perspective of, you know, from the political side of the governance side of that. How is that possible? Can we make that change out there for the future? Can that be changed? And, you know, if that is the case, because, see, a lot of our kids, a lot of people over in the city of South Fulton go to Banneker, right? And so, but as far as them doing anything outside of the city that they're in, that city has jurisdiction. So hence, that's why they do their State of the Union address in Union City at Banneker every year.
I was just about to say that. That's exactly right.
And then
Corey, can I say something? This Miss Johnson.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Union City did not want Banneker when it was run down and stuff. And we over here in the Fairwood community
I know.
worked real hard going up to the north end, traveling up there, getting ideas, bringing them back. And then once we got Banneker fixed, redid over and everything, Union City came and took it. And I just think that that was terrible. They didn't want it back then.
Ms. Johnson, I truly know and understand that because they had trailers. And so it wasn't until the funding out that they came back there and built this brand new school, brand new look that, you can have it. So,
And we worked real hard on that.
right. And some women, y'all appreciate this. So you get a man over there, you build him up over there, got him from the cardboard box. Now he's in the, the courthouse, or he's in the corner office, and he done left you for something else. And so it's like, but build him up and somebody else comes snatching. And so it's one of those difficult things. It's not, somebody laughed too hard at that. Somebody laughed way too hard at that. But however, but I mean, and I do understand the fight because prior administration, they along with the rest of the group that fought hard out there, Banneker, you can not take that away as, documented, it's evident, and they fought hard, and that did, and I do think that's unfair. And so it's one of those things of, as some people would say, oh, chalk that up to politics. I say, well, that's up to, what was the intent behind it? And so, because I do agree that Banneker does not get the support from our city that it is because it's not in our city. And but the program they do have, particularly in their construction program, I'm gonna talk about the programs they have over there, which I do like and are good. And so is that construction program and that vocational program. So they do have something going on, and they paired up with Atlanta Area Tech to send them kids on to the technical college from there as well. So they're doing positive things. It's just, like you said, it's unfortunate it's not in our city. Go ahead.
Corey, it's Mr. Conway again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Conway.
Okay, is there, where do I go to find what crimes is actually happening in my neighborhood? Is there a website similar to what the city of Atlanta has that where you can go and see what crime is going on in certain areas? Is that available on
breakdown?
Pardon me?
Well, we used to get a breakdown of that crimes per district and crimes per like if it was aggravated assault, murder, robbery, attempted robbery. And so you can just call the police and ask them for a report, or I'll request it. And so, but crime overall, as you see that throughout the city, is down. And so, there's one caveat that creates a little problem because particularly in this area, it comes down to one or two sources of crime that's designated. So there definitely has to be, an attention and highlight put on that from a perspective of when is it too much crime or when is it just a nuisance. And so, but yes, you can ask the police. They should be able to give you a breakdown. If you ask them for a breakdown per metrics of that, the breakdown per districts, and they'll give you the breakdown per murder, aggravated assault, attempted robbery, theft by taking. You're right. So it's pretty in depth. But they used to send them to us monthly, but we don't get them no more. Or at least I haven't received one in quite some time.
Okay, so the
You
The
can,
city of South Fulton, police department does not have I don't know if you've seen the one for the city of
I have
Atlanta.
not seen the one. I have not seen the one for City of Atlanta, sir.
But yeah, city of Atlanta has one that's recorded daily, all crimes.
well,
that's what
excuse
There
me,
are some
this is,
sites that you can go to, I believe.
yeah, there's a site, that's exactly correct. There are some sites out there that you can go to, that's South Fulton.
Jane, do you know
And
those? Do you know those sites?
So
Jane, do you
one
know
of
those
the
sites?
sites, yes,
Put it in the
I'll
chat.
put it
Put it in the chat.
okay. I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we want everybody to have access to this, and so it's
Okay.
to make sure that what I mean, everybody keep an eye out. But if you see something, say something. And so a lot of crimes keep going on getting prevented because they'll catch it, but nobody wants to come forward, nobody wants to testify, nobody wants to release the tape. So therefore, that's why crime is still able to continue, because nobody wants to go through the process, because sometimes it might be a year, sometimes it might be 6 months that they have to come out there again. And and some people fear retaliation. And so that's an issue that the police face, and why a lot of crimes are unsolved. So we just go with the aspect of, if you see something, say something. But my thing is, let's go through and follow through with it. If we really want to curtail it, there's the follow through. So, but a lot of people don't get to that point, and so I can't say that I blame them. And so, but at the end of the day, that some things that people are fearful of retaliation.
Congressman, is College Park a part of South Fulton?
No, sir. As part of the South Fulton region.
Okay, so that's why they have their own city council. Got it.
Yes, sir. The South Fulton region is College Park, Hapeville, Fairburn, Union City, Chat Hills, City of South Fulton, some parts of Atlanta, they'll say, and Palmetto. The South Fulton region.
But those cities you just named, when it comes to city services, they get those services from their own city and not South Fulton.
I'm trying to tell you, yes, sir.
Okay.
See, that's right. I'm not going to go into I think different on what we are with our city services. I think that service delivery, I think when you own it, you better control it, period. With the commodities that you need to have. And when you own your own utilities, you kind of set your own standards on what you can and cannot do. Certain things can be done if you own your utilities. So, and we can deal with housing, particularly on a more stringent basis if we own our utilities. And we must talk about ownership, people. I'm just never going to get off of that. And so I'm just, I don't care what the cost is, because it's not the cost now, it's an investment now. It's the cost savings over the later. Will it benefit us now? Probably not. And so, but will it be a benefit for the future of the existence of the city? Absolutely. And so, and that's what, at least that's what I'm here for, is that they're building out there for the infrastructure for the future, because I would love the things for right now. It's just not going to happen right now. And, but 5 years from now, but we do have the hope, because this is why we became our city. And so we must fight each and every day out there to own our city, own what we can do, and own our future. That's just what I firmly believe in. I'm never going to stop doing it. I'm never going to deny it. And I think that we can, with a collective mindset, move to the right track. But, you are the investors, you are the people. And so you have assembled this team. And so I just think that, collective ideas and collaborative efforts will move this city in a forward way that the people will want to see, as far as service delivery and quality of life. Which to me, those things are key. Safety is definitely a number one thing that is on people's minds and should be. And it should be our jobs out there to provide you a safe and clean environment so you can thrive in. And I'm never going to get off of that mission. And so, but it takes a collective effort. And so I still have hope. I know that the day is coming. It's just a long game. And so we just, but everybody has been patient, because people have been invested here for 20, 30 years. And so, but we was unincorporated. We're 5 years old. And so that's to some, that's not an excuse because that's one of the arguments that you said can be. But at the end of the day, it's incorporating it online and onboarding things of uh, um, particularly staff, forward-thinking people, understanding where we at, understanding where we need to go, and the monetary limitations on how we're going to get there. And so that's what we have to work on. I think that there's ways that the city can grow. Urban farming. Miss Chandra, I'll tell you, she has a wonderful mechanism. We're gonna come live and at Rooted Affirmations. You know, you have a garden right here in your community. As we just had Brian Morsi on, he wants agriculture, and so I just believe in manufacturing. If we don't manufacture anything, I think different, a lot of things, but I'll lay it out for you on my mindset and what it is because, like, there's no way that we should not be thinking about the things that we need to own for a better future for the city that we have and a better outcome for you, the investors, who are the most important to me because we owe you that return on investment. And so I've been certainly trying. And so I hope y'all grant me 4 more years, but if not, then it's we're gonna continue to move forward in a forward fashion regardless. And so we're not gonna stop. And so and so I just on with March. And thank you guys for being on and thank you guys for being around. And so Ms. Johnson, I heard you with the resolve on there on transit and Pebble Beach. And we're gonna look at them smart bumps, and we're gonna look at the things of that nature. But still, we still haven't even attacked one of these things about the detention ponds. And so there's still so much on the radar and so much to be addressed. It's like I'm not running from the key and critical issues that we do face as far as infrastructure, because I think that we can get those things done in the most reasonable fashion under the umbrella of the city, and then worry about the capital projects on what's going to take county and state efforts. So I think that. We just need to keep going and move forward. But it is 7:38. It is Monday night. It is the first call of 2023. But go ahead. What do you have? Talk to me.
I have one
I'm
question.
listening.
Okay, this is Glenda Collins again. December came and ended, and we have not heard the results of the lost funds. So did they resolve that, or is it still on the table?
They
The
done
lost.
resolved it. They done resolved it, signing of the deal, and yeah, that's a done deal, Ms. Collins.
Okay,
So
so we got our
would you like me to
percentage?
get you the result? Would you like me to I'll tell you what I will do is I'll put out there the results out there of the lost funds and how the settlement. I will put that on the website so everybody can go to it. I believe you can find it on our city website as well.
Okay,
And
very
so,
good.
but to the ones who don't have social media and the ones who says that they still did it, let me check on where the city is out with mailing the results of those lost funds over there, because we do know people with people who don't have the outlets need to also get the information.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Corey,
ma'am.
this is Sheila. I had 2 things. The first one is it online? Would the city receive money from the pandemic? Everybody received pandemic money, and some cities tell you exactly what they spent their pandemic money on, where you can go through some of the cities and you see they beautify the areas by putting up signs and things. I don't see anything that the city of South Fulton did with the pandemic money. Is there a report or something where the city of South Fulton can show what was the money spent, or do they still have the money, or are they holding on to the money? What did we do with our money, the city of South Fulton? What happened to the money? And if there's a report out there, is it online or something telling how the money was spent? How was the money spent? So that was one.
Go ahead.
Okay. Do you have an answer to that, or we just need to find it from somewhere else? Or
No, I mean I will have you answer on that, because what they had it in our financial report on what the money was spent on. They had it in the publication and even in the last city financial report that was presented on December the 13th.
okay, I mean it should be out there somewhere. I can go look it up to see
Yes,
what.
it is. Right. And look on the financial report under the city of South Fulton. it should be under there. So, and they said what it was spent on. But if I was on the DS and I asked a question out there because a couple of $100,000 was left off from with the ARP funds and the disaster relief. As you know, if you was listening in to the last meeting, and I asked that what was the money spent, because the what was the Atlanta Community Food Bank didn't receive $100,000 that they was given a proclamation for, and was read. That was back in like June. They still never received the money. And then there was another $100,000 that was still supposed to be procured out. And then there was $20,000 spent out there, $10,000 each last year and this year for the city turkey giveaway. So it was. These questions are recorded and asked on from the last meeting, and so we'll get you that, and I'll post it on our website. And so on that last financial report on where they said that money was spent. And then do not forget that they did just approve a company down in Florida to allocate rental assistance money. So I think it's probably going to be able to help about 50 families. And so, but we'll see how that program works. And we'll see. Yeah, I want the actual metrics of it actually. So when it's over. But if you know anybody with rental assistance and things of that nature, also go to the city's website, or if nobody knows, and anybody who knows somebody who does not have internet access or access to the city but need assistance, do send us their information, where they stay, so we can get somebody over from the city to go over there and see if we can meet their needs. Like, contact us so we can put you in touch with somebody from the city who can come meet those needs. If we have to come ourselves, if you know anybody who does not have the communication, digital communication, please do let us know. We do not want anybody to be left out if they need assistance, and we definitely do not want them not being part of the digital age to affect them from receiving their assistance either. So if you know of that situation, do alarm us of it so we can handle that. So I think it was $200,000 that was approved.
Is it just rental assistance? What about homeowners assistance? People who
It
own
said,
homes?
it said rental and mortgage assistance. Ms. Healy, it said rental and mortgage assistance.
Okay,
That's what I
mortgage.
didn't know.
Okay, and more people who need help with them. Okay.
Hey, you got an iPad.
Right, so
iPad 5.
So I know you're getting ready to shut it down.
iPad. I'm sorry, Mr. Durham. Mr. Durden. iPad 5. Whoever that is, had their hand up for a minute. Okay.
All right, I just didn't see it.
Okay. iPad 5. I don't know. Okay. Well, go ahead, Mr. Durden, because they ain't saying anything.
So in addition to that $2.5 billion project off of the Old National Corridor that may not get built, are there any other initiatives going on that would bring us high-end hotels, restaurants, and entertainment?
You said despite the development of what?
I said, we talked about the $2.5 billion project that may not happen off of the Old National Corridor. It may not happen. My question is there any other projects in the works to bring us high-end hotels, entertainment, and restaurants?
Well, there is a development going on, but it's not in our city. It's actually in Union City at the corner of 92 and South Fulton Parkway. They're developing a little mini Avalon. If anybody is familiar with Avalon on the north end over there, going up 400, it's a place people use metrics, but they're developing a mini one that's going to have shops, restaurants, living. It was actually in the paper. And so who had there brought it back to my attention, Al, it's a preview. I can send the link out, and so that you can be able to take a look at it. And so that's what's developing right there at the corner of 92 and South Fulton Parkway, which is going to affect any development that happens around here and around our city as well. So either adding to that area or, making headway. I do know that we have one hotel down here that's in District 7, and it's off the Fairburn Road exit just past Union City. But then they're adding 2 more hotels to that footprint. So we will have a total of 3. I do not know if they're currently under the construction. I know that they was going through the permit process of getting the building permits, the last that I was updated about that. So outside of that, I do know that they're going to be working on a diamond diversion coming off of Old National. Waiting to see what the plans are for the old Target building and the old Discount Mall. Those 2 properties are in College Park. And so, as you know, very well aware of may or may not be, but they're just down that street on Garvey Road, the cottage homes that they just put up, and they affordable, and they actually gave one away. And so, but those are far as the developments that I know. I know that there's a conference center coming down to Old National Highway. There's a groundbreaking for that on the 14th of January. And so it's an event center and conference room. Supposed to be unique, state of the art. And so I'll send that invitation out as I'll put that up again, or I'll make you aware of it, particularly next week, and the precise location. And so those are the developments that I do know about currently. Any other developments outside of that, I'm not aware of.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay. Well, look here, it's 7:47. You know what I mean? That means we take off. And so I do thank each and every one of you for joining on and expressing your concerns. If you have any other things, additional news and things of that nature, please email me. So one is I can get you the authoritative answer out there, and then we will have a record out there of this questions, and so we can get these metrics answered and get these questions answered onto the length of times of projects, and then where we at with, you know, people having permits of having houses up that nobody seem to know about it, but we got to quit going under the radar and things of that nature, because and allow for things to happen so we can get our inspectors and get our permits, which gets our funding up, which, you know, directly calculates into taxes and, you know what I mean, a surcharge or a discount. So, but however, thank you all for attending. I appreciate it. First call of the new year. Let's get to work. You know what I mean? And so it's back in the saddle, and I'm glad everybody made it into the new year safely and happily. And so think positive. Let's stay joyful. Let's stay excited. Let's stay positive. I love you. You can't do nothing about it. And let's get ready for an exciting 2023.
Thank
Good
you.
night, everyone.
Good
Thanks,
night.
Good night, y'all. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.